Hello everyone, I'm here to start a new series that is going to be 326 parts. And that series is playing through every single story path in Shadow the Hedgehog. I'm sure you're wondering why, and honestly, I don't really have a strong reason. I've played this game a bunch, and I just kind of wanted to be able to do it, you know? I wanted to kind of put together a series. So I don't really expect you to actually watch through every single one of these playthroughs. The commentary that I'm going to be doing is sort of just watching over my footage and commentating for the most part. I'm not going to commentate over every single story path. That'd be kind of crazy. But what I am going to do is I'm going to commentate over each mission the very first time that I play it. So in this case, this is my very first video of the series, and therefore I'm going to be talking about each mission. But that just means that each mission that I do subsequently, every time I replay this game and I get a different path, then I'm just not going to talk about it if I've already covered it again. So there are a lot of missions in this game. So just to be clear, what I mean is, this mission, this path that I'm doing requires me to do the hero mission of Westopolis, the first level in the game. So I will do commentary over Westopolis 2 more times in the future. The first time that I get the neutral pathway, and the first time that I get the dark pathway out of Westopolis. And then, I won't ever talk over Westopolis again unless I just kind of decide to for a special occasion. Yeah, in the meantime, though, this is going to be the very first one. There are going to be times where I'm not going to be talking and I'm just going to let the game audio play out. But yeah, I'm also going to put chapters or timestamps in the description so you can skip ahead to each one. And you may be wondering, what order am I doing these in? What order did I decide upon? Well, what I did is I just put a random number generator between 1 and 326, and I just rolled it. And the very first one, the very first path that it generated for me, is pathway number 294, which is titled A Heart Bound by Sin. So that's the very first one that we're going to do, and yeah. I also will mention that I'm not the greatest at this game. I mostly can get A ranks because A ranks are pretty easy in this game. But yeah, I might get some B ranks or lower along the way. I will generally cut out deaths though. During this run, I did have to go through Iron Jungle, which I died on quite a few times, so I cut out those deaths, which is why you won't see the zoom in on Omega when you see that later in the run. But otherwise, yeah, I pretty much just played through the game, and that's what you're watching. Like I said, you don't really have to sit through each of these. They're all going to be about an hour long, because that's about how long it takes to go through. Some of them are going to be a little bit longer, some of them are going to be a bit shorter, because, certain missions are easier or harder. And yeah, we'll just see where this goes. I don't really have a specific plan for how often I intend to upload these, but I just want to play through like maybe a couple on like a weekend, and then maybe commentate and edit them, and then upload them through the week or something. We'll see how it goes. I want to do at least like one more close to this one, and also each path is technically like a pair. Like numbers 294 and 293 are like, in 293 you go dark on the last mission, and in 294 you go hero on the last mission. So those are pairings, but I'm not going to do them together. I'm going to treat them each separately. I'm going to let I'm going to let the cutscenes play out in each one. So you can always skip those if you are watching more than one of them and you have already seen them and you don't want to. But I'm going to treat each of these as if you are kind of just wanting to watch this one specific playthrough, and go from there. So we are currently in Westopolis doing the hero mission. This is the first mission in the game. Westopolis is not too bad of a first level for the hero mission. I do think it gets a little bit annoying in some places. There's a couple places where like some bats will fly through, and you may not notice them if you're rushing past, and that sucks. It sucks when you accidentally miss a bat, and then you're like, dang it, I got like all of them but one, and then now I gotta go back and find out, okay, which area was the bat in that I missed. And yeah, that kind of sucks. But honestly, it's not too terribly bad. I think this is the easier of the two missions between it and the dark mission. I mean, in most cases, the neutral mission is just going to be the easiest one. But between the hero and dark missions, I think the hero one is like, this one and the dark mission are both roughly the same. So honestly, they're pretty much the same in my opinion. Westopolis, it's an okay first level for Shadow the Hedgehog. I do think it mostly gets you into things. The biggest criticism I would say about this level, and a ton of them in Shadow the Hedgehog, is just that in most of them you can't miss a single enemy when you have the kill all enemies in the level objective. And just sometimes that can be very annoying, because you're like, okay, did I really get everything here? I gotta make sure. And then it's like, if you miss it, you're like, I gotta go back through the whole dang level. And it's like, where did it go? It's not usually too crazy, but it's just kind of one of those things that's a big flaw with this game, is that so many of the levels require you to kill all enemies, and you can't miss a single one, and if you do, you gotta replay. And it's just kind of not very fun. You wish that there was like, okay, there's 45 enemies that I have to kill. Maybe there's like 50 or 55, and then we can go from there. It's like maybe like the last levels of the game, like if you're doing a level 6 that requires you to kill all enemies, like okay, if there's only that many enemies in that level, I guess that's okay. But like this is still level 1. People are still getting used to the game. And sure, you don't have to do this mission, but it's like, if you want to be able to get all A ranks, at some point you're gonna have to do every mission. And it would just be nice if some of the missions had, more leeway. Yeah, I just kind of wish that was a thing here. One thing that does make this mission slightly harder, and any mission where you have to attack the gun troops a little bit easier, is that there's usually a golden gun beetle. And right there it was, right as I was falling down. That if you attack it, it does count as a member of the gun forces. So there's technically 41, I forget, I think 36 actually is how many. I think it usually asks for 35, so there's technically 36 gun troops in Westopolis if you count the golden gun beetle, but generally you're not expected to go after it. It's just kind of a, holdover bonus from Sonic Adventure 2, so...
The Black Aliens have hit 6 major cities around the world, and every city is reporting significant damage and casualties. Among them, Westopolis has received the heaviest casualties due to its weakened defense system. Downtown Westopolis has been almost completely destroyed. Unconfirmed sources have also reported seeing a black hedgehog in Westopolis.
Shadow? Deploy the troops now! And if you find Shadow with the Black Aliens, then kill them all.
But sir, isn't Shadow on our
I
side?
gave you an order, soldier. He's evil and he's the enemy. You can't fool me, Shadow. This time, you're mine.
One of the things that I find kind of interesting about this game is how it plays out in terms of like going from level to level, there's not always a lot of continuity, and in some cases it doesn't even make sense. Like in this cutscene here, we just beat up the Black Arms, which is the alien race forces here in Westopolis, and we're with Sonic, so that makes sense because he was our friendly companion in the Westopolis level. But Black Doom here is like, Shadow, you need to help me. We found the third Chaos Emerald in the city, so we need to get out of here because we don't have anything else to do. And it's like, Black Doom, I just wiped out all your forces here in Westopolis. Like, why are you asking me for help? What's even funnier is that if you do the neutral mission where you ignore both Sonic and Black Doom, like, Black Doom's mad. He's like, you disobeyed me, Shadow. And it's just like, I just didn't help you destroy the gun forces. Like, I figured you'd be way more mad when I destroyed your forces, but I guess you don't care? Like, I don't know. Black Doom's logic is kind of confusing. I mean, even if you're on the pure hero path, at the very end of the game, he'll still be like, Shadow, you must help me. Help me defend against the human Shadow. I know you've been completely destroying my entire army, and you literally came here to kill me. But like, Shadow, please help me out, Shadow. And it's just kind of funny. It's also kind of a criticism I have of this game, where like, given all the ways you can approach each level, I do kind of wish that there were more like unique cutscenes where it's like, oh, if you're entering this level from this level, then Shadow acts like this, and it's like, I know that would be a few more cutscenes, but like, I do think it would help because like, in this playthrough, we enter Sky Troops by following from Circus Park's Dark Mission, and in the beginning of Sky Troops, Shadow's on top of a bunch of floating ruins, and those floating ruins are activated in the level Glyphic Canyon, which is a stage 2 that you don't play in this path. So it's like Shadow's like not even phased. Like, why is he on top of those floating ruins? I mean, even in the pathways where you do go through both Glyphic Canyon and Sky Troops, there's still a level 3 between them, and you're just wondering like, so I guess, Shadow understands the flying fortresses in those pathways, but how does he know about them here? Why is he here there? You think that if he entered Sky Troops coming from, like, Circus Park's Dark Mission, then he'd be entering with Eggman instead of with Black Doom. But, it's just something that I think would make would have made the game a little bit better, is if they just kind of had some unique cutscenes depending on which stage you entered from. But yeah, we are currently in Lethal Highway doing the hero mission here as well. This is a mission where you have to destroy a vehicle. There's only a couple of these in the game, and this is definitely the easiest one. This is the destroy the aliens tank as it's running away. It's not too bad. Shadow the Hedgehog has gunplay as a big part of it, and whenever you're doing a vehicle destruction level, you absolutely want to be using the guns. You really can't defeat any of them with just a homing attack. Like, you can attack this tank with your homing attack, but like future ones like an Iron Jungle, which is in this pathway, like the egg balloon is completely out of your way the entire time, and then in Air Fleet you can't reach it either, so it's like you have to use guns to destroy these things. And I will say that the gunplay in Shadow the Hedgehog is actually pretty good. It's pretty nice for the most part. So yeah, I don't really have a problem with it. You just always got to make sure you are using your guns, and for the most part you just want to be homing attacking enemies whenever they're nearby, and not shooting them because you want to kind of preserve your ammo. So yeah, that's one thing to think about. Honestly, the Lethal Highway, though, is a pretty easy mission. Should the tank get away from you, that is how you trigger doing the neutral mission from Lethal Highway. Or I believe, actually, you can't do it. Can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, if you do actually let the vehicle get away in any of the 3 vehicle destruction missions, that does count as failing the mission. You will fail the hero mission of Lethal Highway, Iron Jungle, or the dark mission of Air Fleet. So, yeah. Something that you're seeing right now here is the Chaos Control power. So, for Shadow, he has 2 different meters. He has the blue meter and the red meter. The blue meter is whenever you defeat evil forces, you'll get good energy, and that is the power of Chaos Control. In main levels, it will shoot you far down the level. You'll fly past a bunch of stuff. and the dark energy uses Chaos Blast, a destructive explosion attack that takes out everything nearby. Now, I don't really ever use this in the boss fights, but if you do use Chaos Control in the boss fights, it actually slows down time, which can be useful sometimes, but there's a lot of cases where bosses are invulnerable, and you can't really attack them even with your guns when they're slowed down, so it's not always the best to use Chaos Control in a boss fight, but it can be useful. It has its uses sometimes. So we're approaching another thing that kind of ties into what I was talking about earlier of wishing that there were different cutscenes depending on how you approach the level, which I guess there technically is. In the level of the Doom, there is a difference whether you approach the level from Cryptic Castle or Prison Island, but it's just the color of the cutscene before Shadow goes to the Doom. It doesn't actually affect what Black Doom says or what Shadow says, so, that's really the only difference. But regardless of whether you do the hero or the dark mission of Lethal Highway here, you will always fight Black Bull, which I kind of find a little bit weird, because, like, if you just did the dark mission, then why is Black Doom attacking you? You obeyed his orders, you helped him out, so why is he trying to take you out now? Like, at least with, when you do the hero mission and you help Sonic destroy the tank, I can understand why he'd sick Black Bull on you. But, in the event of helping him out, like, why is he still attacking you? I feel like it makes sense if either we didn't fight a boss here, if you did the dark mission, or if you fought an alternate boss. And then, there's a number of cases like this, where it's like, why is the person that I just helped out now attacking me? It's like, it doesn't make sense, and it just makes you feel like they could have just either cut the boss from doing the dark mission, or, just giving me a different boss. I don't know, maybe I have to fight Sonic, because he's like, Shadow, what are you doing? I thought you were on our side. Why'd you help them out? Why didn't you destroy the tank? Or something like that. I don't know. It feels like there could have been something there. This is Black Bull. He's a pretty easy boss fight in Lethal Highway. This is actually the harder version of him. You also can fight him in the stage Death Ruins, and I definitely think that this is the harder fight between the Lethal Highway and Death Ruins fight. So in this one, you just homing attack the bats whenever he stops, and then you homing attack his eye several times, and you can also go out of your way to grab a gun so that by the time you build up enough Chaos Control, you can just shoot his eye until he's dead, which is generally what I do. And you could use Chaos Control to, slow down time, but there's really not a reason to. You can attack him plenty well in just using this. Oh yeah, one other thing to mention. When you have the blue or red aura around you for Chaos Control or Chaos Blast, you are invincible and you have infinite ammo. So that's a really cool thing, and it's also a reason why you don't usually want to use Chaos Control or Chaos Blast, because it's like, especially if you're doing a boss fight, or even if you're just going through a mission like where you're killing everything, it's like, well, I'd rather have the infinite ammo. I'd rather have the the boost, the invincibility. So it's kind of a thing where it's like you don't always want to use the powers that Shadow has. It's it's a trade-off. Either you have it for a little bit longer, or you get the short-term effect. I honestly, I tend to use Chaos Control a lot when I'm doing neutral missions, because in those ones, you're always just getting to the goal. So the best thing to do is get there as fast as possible, right? So you might as well attack the evil troops that give you good energy, and then just use Chaos Control to blast through the entire level. Which is what you'll see I do in Sky Troops coming up here after Circus Park. So, yeah, that's generally my strategy. It doesn't always work, but yeah, something that I like to do.
Tell the commanding generals that the United Federation will never surrender to terrorists.
Yes, Mr. President.
This planet was once saved from tyranny and annihilation by you two heroes. Now mankind must protect this peace at all costs. We must stand united to defend our world against these invaders.
Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald? Isn't that Tails?
Look at that! It's Eggman's theme park. He made it out of the rings he's taken from around the world. I've got to get those rings back.
A Chaos Emerald. This is just too easy. Guess it's my lucky day.
So I thought I'd let everyone's favorite line play out there. Shadow the Hedgehog has like two big meme lines. That's one of them, and then we're actually going to be seeing the other one as well, since this run ends in Cosmic Fall, where the other meme line is. So, in the meantime, we're doing the dark mission of Circus Park. Circus Park is a pretty fun level. It's a big casino land type area. Eggman loves building these things. So in the dark mission, we got to help out Dr. Eggman and defeat all of the gun robots that are attacking his park here. Honestly, it's not really too bad of a mission. I think this is one of the easier destroy everything in the level ones. It only really sucks if you fall to certain areas where there's a bunch of Eggman troops, because one of the criticisms of this game that you can level is that there are a lot of scenarios where it expects you to kill certain enemies regardless of which mission you're on. There is a certain part of Sky Troops where you're expected. So in Sky Troops' dark mission, you're expected to touch all of the glimmering jewels to activate the fortresses, right? And the last one is actually hidden behind a box where you have to kill a bunch of Black Arms soldiers, right? Now, there is technically a way around it. If you spin dash jump up these stairs that are right nearby it, then you can actually bypass it by, getting that height. But, the intended method is to kill all of the Black Arms, and it's well, that's stupid. Why isn't there just a way around it for when I'm doing the dark mission? Because one of the things that I haven't mentioned yet is that whenever you do the dark mission or the hero mission, the opposing side score will be subtracted when you do it. So, if you have 10,000 dark points by the end of the mission that you complete the dark mission, right? And then you still have 1,000 hero score, then that 1,000 hero score is actually subtracted, and it can actually hurt your A rank skill. So that's one of the things, especially if you're, if you're going in Gun Fortress and trying to do the hero mission, or if you're at Final Haunt and you're trying to do the dark mission, it's really hard to not fill up the opposite gauge, because it's well, there's not many enemies aside from the forces that, it's in Gun Fortress, that's on the pure evil pathway, and there's not too many aliens to fight. I mean, there actually are in Gun Fortress, but it's in Final Haunt, it's pretty much all alien enemies, and it's if I'm trying to do the dark mission, I don't want to attack them, but there aren't very many ways past them. And you just kind of wish that the game was designed a little bit better to give you pathways. It's okay, I'm doing the dark mission, send me down the path where there's only things I want to attack for the dark mission. And that's actually a compliment I can give to the level Air Fleet, which will not be seen in this video. In Air Fleet, if you're doing the hero mission, you leave the switches alone, you go down the paths with the aliens, and boom. And then if you're doing the dark mission, you send the President's escape pod down the opposite pathway. That's where all the gun forces are. You can get their weapons, you can get their guns, and you can have a much easier time attacking it. Even then, though, I will admit that there is some point in Air Fleet where the only way to get through is to attack the Black Arms soldiers to open the door that has been sealed, and it's just well, Black Doom, I'm trying to help you out here, dude. I'm trying to help, blow up the President's escape pod, but you can't just tell the Black Arms to, lay off and, open the door. It's just it's just a big criticism, I would say, about Shadow the Hedgehog in general, that it's well, you think there could have been a little bit of a better game design in how the levels are playing out, so yeah.
Those idiots! They're destroying everything! How can I take over the city and build the Eggman Empire if there is no city? I'm at my limit. I have no choice! Send in the Eggman fleet! Charge!
I bet no one expected this baby could fly.
I transported this brilliant flying fortress.
Alright, so yeah, this is the thing I was talking about earlier, where it's like, Shadow's on board these flying fortresses, but like, he didn't activate the jewels back in Glyphic Canyon, you know, he was busy in Lethal Highway fighting off the tank, so it's like, how did these get active? I guess Black Doom just sent his own forces to Glyphic Canyon and they did it themselves. But it's like, again, you know, I came here from Circus Park where I was just helping out Dr. Eggman, so why didn't he, like, you know, why didn't I go along with him to Sky Troops and he'd be like, Shadow, look at those black creatures, they've got their own flying fortresses, you know what you have to do, Shadow, fight them for me, for the Eggman Empire, since, you know, Eggman loves Shadow, and he's always asking him for help, so I think that's kind of a joke that started here, but, like, even in, you know, in future games, we definitely see that Eggman likes relying on Shadow, and Shadow, for some reason, just helps him a lot. So, you know, I mean, you do you, Shadow. So we are now approaching Sky Troops, and and here in Sky Troops, we're going to be doing the neutral mission. Now, I will say that this is actually one of the better levels in the game. The neutral mission is, of course, easy as always. Get to the goal ring. But the Dark Mission and the Hero Mission are also both pretty easy, I will say. The Dark Mission requires you to destroy all of Eggman's battleships, and they're pretty, you know, pretty big, pretty obvious in the sky. And so when you are doing the Dark Mission, you just jump in one of the Black Arms cannons and you blow up Eggman's airships. And then when you're doing the Hero Mission, which is Dr. Eggman, which is the only time he's considered the Hero Mission, you just have to destroy the power sources that you see right here, which, if you did play through Glyphic Canyon, those are the ones you touch to activate, but if you shoot them with enough gunpowder, then, you know, that counts as destroying them for the Hero Mission here for Dr. Eggman.
God must have left this behind. It looks like it can jump pretty high. Don't let them get away! Ah! The killer's coming this way! Shadow, destroy it!
I would say that Sky Troops is kind of one of the better levels in the game. You know, it has like pretty clear objectives and it's hard to miss them. So, you know, it's one of the ones where it's like, I do think that the developers of Shadow were clearly capable of making better missions, but they just didn't in a lot of cases. I don't know, maybe they just didn't think it would be that bad, but yeah, anyway, this is the first time that I ever used Chaos Control, and yeah, that's what it does. It just flings you down the pathway pretty far, and so, especially in neutral missions, you want to do it. I believe I got a B rank here, so you don't want to stick around for too long fighting off hero soldiers if you would just be faster to run past them, and I think that's what I screwed up on here, is that I just kind of, I fought too many of the Black Arms, so that it kind of ruined my A rank, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but, you know, oh well. I'm not going for an all A rank every single time, you know, I do want to get all A ranks eventually by the time I finish all 326 pathways, but, if I don't, you know, it's no big deal. I can always get them off screen if I decide to do, like, a bonus video for hard mode. So we'll see about that. This is one of the few levels that has the jump gun mech. It actually is in the next two levels for this playthrough. You know, it's both in Iron Jungle and in Cosmic Fall briefly. The jumping gun mech it's okay. You know, it's just kind of there. If you land on like an enemy with a jump, then you know it'll kill it if it's low health. But nothing too crazy. This is also the first level that has the Black Arms Bat, which you'll see in a little bit. It also appears in a couple other levels. I believe it appears when you're doing the Dark mission of Final Haunt, and I believe it appears in Cryptic Castle. Regardless of your mission, you have to use it. Pretty much, they're just like, you know, you get to kill a bunch of them throughout the game anyway, but there are certain ones where once you attack them, they just sort of get knocked out. And then when Shadow jumps on them, then he can just kind of fly them around from point A to point B. And, you know, those segments are okay. You know, there's a couple of them. I believe in the level The Ark, you can get one that has homing rockets that it can shoot somehow. And those are pretty cool. You know, I believe that also can show up in the key door pathway of Sky Troops here, which I may show off at some point. I'm doing this all from a fresh save file, so I don't actually have any of the keys. But yeah, there is this whole segment indoors, and you know, that's the key door that can take you down the alternate pathway, but I'm just going to be going down the normal path. And yeah, we're already almost at the end here. You know, both the Eggman battleships and the alien power sources are, you know, spaced pretty evenly throughout the level. I would say that if you're doing the hero mission, it's still cool to use Chaos Control, but I would recommend only using it like right after you destroy one power source. So like, okay, you destroyed power source number 1 and you have enough for Chaos Control, use it right then, because you won't get flung past the second one. That's what I found in my playthroughs of Sky Troops, is that as long as you use it like right after taking out a power source, then it's not too bad. But yeah, I mean, like look right here. You know, both the final Eggman battleship and the final power source are both right in the same area, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, not too bad of a neutral mission here with Sky Troops.
You're not getting away from me this time, Doctor. Huh? What the? How can this be? Who are you?
Listen up, Shadow androids. The Eggman fleet is strong, but those black creatures are a formidable adversary. I must return to the base to devise a new plan.
Shadow? Android? Am I an android too?
So here in Iron Jungle, we are reintroduced to the Shadow Androids, a plot point which was originally introduced in Sonic Heroes. And, you know, there are also enemy types in this level, and also Lava Shelter, I believe, is the only other one that they appear in. And, you know, they're fine enemies. They're a little bit annoying with their homing missiles, but not too bad. So here we're going to be doing the hero mission to help out E123 Omega. And our mission is to destroy the egg balloon. And this is definitely the hardest of the 3 vehicle destructions. The President's Escape Pod in Air Fleet definitely has more health, but I feel like you get way more guns, and it's way more easy to attack the President's Escape Pod in Air Fleet compared to this game, to this level when you're fighting Eggman's egg balloon. You know, it's not like the worst thing ever, but it's definitely hard, especially because like the primary weapon you're using is the egg pawn bazookas, and they don't really have any. They don't have any like auto lock on like most weapons. They have like manual aim, so they do a lot of damage. And like the egg balloon's a huge target, which is fairly easy to hit most times. But I won't lie that it can get a little bit annoying trying to destroy this thing. when you're just going through the level. But yeah, I mean, it's not horrible, but I mean, I still failed quite a few times. And something that I actually haven't mentioned is the shadow box that you probably just saw. It allows you to get special weapons once you've cleared an ending. So in this, so by defeating the one stage 6, you'll get a special weapon, and then if you defeat the other mission, so like if you do the hero mission for one and then you do the dark mission for the other, then you get level 1 and then level 2. So you can get 5 different special weapons for clearing the 5 different stage 6s, and then you get one more one, which is called the Shadow Rifle, if you clear the last story. I'm planning to clear the last story as soon as I get all 10 endings. It may be more than 10 pathways, though, you know. I could roll, 5 in a row that all end up at the hero mission of Cosmic Fall. I mean, not super likely, but it could happen. So however many playthroughs it takes for me to get to the 10 endings, once I get it, then I will play the last story. I'm not going to show that here, I think, so that I can have the Shadow Rifle unlocked. And the reason you want the Shadow Rifle is pretty much just for these 3 missions, because man, the Shadow Rifle completely tears them apart. So, when I'm not going to be, when I'm doing those missions past the first time, so like, when I'm doing these in the future, once I have the Shadow Rifle unlocked, I'm going to be using it to destroy these missions, because, it just helps them go by a little bit faster, and, once I've explained them once, you don't really need to sit through the intended way, the normal way, again. You probably will, though, since I expect we're going to be doing Iron Jungle's hero mission again before I get to the last story, but, we'll see. One of the things that does kind of suck about this level is just that there are a lot of bottomless pits, so because of all the exploding items, it can be a little bit annoying to kind of go through, because you might get exploded on, and then you might fall off one of the edges, which that sucks. But it's not horrible, I will say. Like, this is definitely one of the more annoying levels. I'm not really a fan of the hero mission with Omega here. If I do end up reaching Iron Jungle, I would pretty much rather do either other mission compared to this one. But it could be worse. There are much worse missions in this game, and even in this pathway, I really am not a fan of the stage 6 that we're going to be doing here. It's my personal least favorite stage 6. So we'll get to that shortly. Yeah, that's the Egg Balloon mission. And this is another one where you actually fight Eggman regardless of which mission you complete. And again, like I mentioned back in Lethal Highway, it's like, well, Eggman, I know I just fought you, and it's like, I understand fighting you here, because I just destroyed your egg balloon. You're gonna be pretty mad at me. But it's like, if you just defeated the gun forces that are pursuing Eggman, if you just helped him get away, why is he attacking you again? I don't know. It really doesn't make sense. But I do think that entering this level from Sky Troops makes the most sense, because we can assume that, Eggman, because Shadow didn't help him out, there was sort of a standstill between Eggman's forces and the Black Arms forces, so that's why he's returning to his base. It also makes sense for this level to lead into Lava Shelter, but not so much into either Black Comet or Cosmic Fall, which we see here. So, yeah. This is also going to be our first battle against the Egg Breaker, and this is definitely the easiest iteration of the Egg Breaker. You also fight him at the end of Cryptic Castle and also Mad Matrix. Now, with those ones, Mad Matrix and Cryptic Castle, they don't have turrets. This one does. So you just jump into one turret, destroy half of Eggman's health, and then you use the guns to take out the other half, and it's really easy. The other ones, they don't have turrets, so they take a little bit longer. But yeah, they're not too bad. Egg Breaker isn't really too bad of a boss fight, honestly.
Yes.
What?
You and Omega are my creations. But you betray me as you stand here before me. So now, I will destroy you both, turning you into scrap metal!
Eggman, I will defeat you once and for all.
This is what you get for turning against your master. Know your place, android!
Damn it!
Oh, you asked for it! No more Mr. Nice Guy. Time to crush you once and for all. Lights up! Lights up!
Damn it.
Next time we meet, you won't be so lucky. Just you wait and see.
An android? Me? I don't believe you. Damn it! What does it all mean? These memories, the doctor's actions and words. Nothing makes sense. Was it real?
It's been a long time, Shadow.
Who are you? And how do you know my name?
I know you, Shadow the Hedgehog. You killed everyone I loved. My family, Maria. I've been waiting all my life for this day.
What? Me? And Maria?
Maria was like a sister to me. She was the only family I knew. And because of you, she was killed. Witnessing it all, the plan to create that horrifying evil creature. That black creature, and that insane professor who unleashed it all!
So, the professor created me with Black Doom?
You don't fool me! It's not just about Maria. Thanks to you, everyone I knew and loved was killed when the Ark was destroyed. Worst of all, my family! Finally, justice is served!
If what you say is true, then I will respectfully accept my fate.
You mean to tell me that you really don't remember a thing?
But I just need some time to uncover the real truth.
So we have now entered the least good Stage 6 in the game, Cosmic Fall. And it sucks because, like, I actually really like the idea behind Cosmic Fall. The idea is that the Black Arms are attacking the Ark, and it's starting to fall apart. So you as Shadow have to get through the Ark as it's falling apart to get to the end. And, you know, there's some, you know, fun ideas with the passageways getting destroyed as you go through and hopping from platform to platform. Like, I feel like Cosmic Fall would make a really good, like, anime episode to see Shadow going through. But in terms of, like, actual gameplay, the real problem with Cosmic Fall is just that it's, like, it's really boring. There are so many segments where you're just kind of standing there waiting for stuff to happen for, like, 10 to 15 seconds or more. And, you know, it's just not that fun, you know. You go, it's like going through it once sucks, and it's like you have to go through it 2 times for each ending, and it's like, I really just don't like Cosmic Fall in the slightest. Both the Hero Mission and the Dark Mission are basically the same thing. The only difference between them is that the Dark Mission ends slightly sooner, so I prefer it for that reason. But the Hero Mission doesn't go on so much longer. It's like an extra minute compared to the Dark Mission, I think. But yeah, that's one of the unfortunate things about Cosmic Fall. Like, it's a good idea in concept. I like it thematically for Shadow's story. But in terms of actual execution, it's just like I just am bored every single time I go through Cosmic Fall, and it sucks whenever you die. Like I did die like right at the beginning in my first attempt, which is why there was that extra loading screen. But it's like in this one, it's like an 8-minute level, I think, and it's like that was an A rank. That was an A rank performance. You know, and it's like it's 8 minutes. Like that, this level is just not that fun. It's just boring. There's so much waiting around. It's like an elevator level. Except for usually in elevator levels, they have, like, enemies for you to fight along the way that still make it interesting. And, you know, there's just not enough enemies for this. And, you know, it's just kind of one of those things where I don't really like that about Cosmic Fall. You know, there's not enough to do. There's just too much, like, pretty boring basic platforming that they expect you to do, and just way too much waiting around. So I'm probably not going to commentate over this entire mission just for that reason, because it's like, what is there to say? You're going through this big, long thing, and it's just mostly really boring waiting around segments. I will say, you know, this is the level where we get the famous line from Vector the Crocodile, which you'll hear right now.
Well, if it isn't Shadow! We got to make it to the computer room before this place collapses! Think you can give me a hand?
Well, technically, you know, we didn't hear that, but, you know, if you go to the pause screen and you listen to it there, you know, that's where he says find the computer room, and, you know, everybody loves that line. It's pretty funny. But, you know, it just sucks that it comes from a really annoying mission, you know. I don't want to help Vector find the computer room because the mission to get there sucks, just as the mission to get to the Chaos Emerald sucks. I guess one thing I could talk about is the voice actors for Sonic in this era. You know, I'm not going to talk about the modern ones or too much, but I guess I'll talk and give my thoughts on the voice cast for Sonic's friends in this game. So, Vector, I prefer his hero's voice a little bit more, and I prefer his current modern voice a little bit more. You know, this one has the goofy energy, and, you know, I like it enough, but I think it's just not quite as good. You know, it's okay, but it's not the best. Let's see, Shadow's voice here with Jason Griffith. I do like it. I'm pretty split down the middle of whether I like him or David Humphrey more. David Humphrey definitely had more of a quiet, kind of melancholy tone to him, and Jason Griffith can definitely bring a bit more of the, like, edgy, badass Shadow out, so there's that. Sonic's voice with Jason Griffith, it'll always be my favorite, personally speaking. I think it fits Sonic, and given the fact that most people who do like a Sonic parody voice tend to do a Jason Griffith impression, you know. I've definitely heard people who based off of Roger or Ryan, but generally on the internet I see that most people kind of mimic Jason's take here whenever they're doing a Sonic impression. So yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. Tails' voice actress, she does a fine job voicing him. I think that she's, you know, perfectly okay. I definitely prefer Tails' current voice with Colleen O'Shaughnessy. SBO and Charmy's voices, you know, SBO's voice I think is pretty good. Charmy's voice, not a fan. I never liked this take on Charmy, if I'm gonna be honest. This take on Amy is pretty good. Let's see. We don't get to see Big in this game, but Cream the Rabbit is here, and, you know, her voice is always high pitched because she's a 6-year-old child, so it's about what you would expect from Cream. Let's see. Eggman's voice is now Mike Pollock, and I do think he's the better between him and Dean Bristow in terms of just voice acting. I definitely think that he really shaped the role in a way, you know. And he's the longest lasting Sonic voice actor. He started technically in Sonic X, but here for the games, and he's still currently the voice. You know, I'm still curious to see what his replacement will be like. 'Cause, you know, eventually one day all the voice actors are gonna have to not voice them anymore. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see what happens when that day comes. Rouge in this game, not a fan of her voice. It's just a little bit too deep. Just sounds, you know, way older than Rouge is supposed to be. E123 Omega sounds almost identical to how he did in Sonic Heroes. I really like this voice for him, you know, because of that. Let's see, Black Doom is, you know, voiced pretty well. Sounds nice, scary, and intimidating. Knuckles, I'll always prefer his adventure voice, because I felt like his adventure voice struck the balance of, like, still being, like, a calm and collected guardian. Well, he could still have his dumb moments, but I definitely think that this was sort of the tipping point where the direction for Knuckles as a character and just in terms of his voice just started going on the stupid route, and I'm not really a fan of that. You know, with apologies to Dan Green, I just don't think that he had an overall positive impact on the voice direction of Knuckles. Let's see though, I think that's pretty much everything in terms of who I need to talk about for their voice acting. So, you know, not too much else to say. We're almost at the end here of Cosmic Fall. I haven't played this one in a while, so I couldn't remember if you could ride the gun mecha with the wire, and it turns out you can't. But yeah, this last section is pretty much just, you know, taking speed panels, then going way up into the air, and then falling onto the next one over and over, and then you take the rockets all the way to the end, and then you fight the final boss of this pathway. So yeah, you know, this is the end of this. I guess I should also talk about the name of the pathway, but I'll do that while talking over the credits, I think. So I'll get to that a little bit shortly. But yeah, this is pretty much the end of Cosmic Fall's mission, and it's not fun. I'm going to be really glad whenever I do the first Dark mission for Cosmic Fall, because then I don't ever have to talk over them again, because they're not fun. You know, Vector, Black Doom, I'm sorry, but your missions and this level, not fun.
Bingo! The computer room!
For what reason do I exist? The answers are just up ahead. Perfect.
What is this defiance?
Black Doom, I need to know the truth. Am I the one the humans refer to as the Evil One? Tell me. I need to know.
It is true. I created you. You are a part of me.
Hey, Shadow! You okay?
If that's true, then I'll have to accept my responsibilities for my crimes. I will avenge the victims who died aboard the Ark on that tragic day.
The humans seem to have convinced you with this absurdity. Therefore, I have no choice but to kill you too. Those humans have brainwashed you and your feeble...
So this is our first encounter with one of 3 final bosses. So yeah, there are 3 different final bosses on the stage 6 boss fights, depending on which mission you do. This one is Black Doom. You face him sometimes. And with Black Doom, he's not too difficult. I would say he's probably the second easiest. You know, I think the Egg Dealer is the easiest, and Sonic and Diablon are the hardest. But in this one, you know, he has a bunch of attacks that he can hit you with. Mostly you just want to run really fast around them. And in the case of his like purple wave, you just jump over it. You want to grab a gun as soon as the fight starts, and then whenever he becomes vulnerable, which is when he stops attacking, you shoot him like 3 times and then he disappears. This will eventually build up your hero meter, and by that point his health bar will be like half gone. So then you just follow him around while you're invincible and you can't get hit by any attacks. You just shoot him until he, you know, is vulnerable again. And then that's really it for Black Doom. Honestly, he's, like I said, he's not too difficult. I think the Egg Dealer is an easier fight, which, you know, we'll see when that one comes. But yeah, no, Black Doom's pretty easy, and we'll go down pretty easily.
This is what I must do for my atonement. Perfect. Finally, I've got all the Chaos Emeralds.
Shadow, this isn't over yet. The Black Arms will rise again.
I am Shadow the Hedgehog, a research experiment gone deadly wrong. I've caused so much destruction. I should never have been created. This is who I am.
Hey, don't go there! Yet, things may not be what they seem. You could be.
So, in both of the Cosmic Fall endings, Shadow kind of realizes that, he's kind of guilty of stuff. In the hero mission, he's like, I've done so many things that I've done wrong. This is all my fault. And in the Dark mission, he kind of similarly is like, I will become the protector of the Ark. But it's like, no one lives there anymore, Shadow. I'm not sure what you think you're protecting, but he acts like it's a temple or something like that. And yeah. So this was Pathway, and again, number 294, which was called A Heart Bound by Sin. So what do I think that this name means? I would say that it just means, like, Shadow is, kind of going down the hero path, doing what he thinks he would do. He probably helps out Dr. Eggman in Circus Park, because he's like, well, I do think that I need some answers from the doctor. Maybe if I help him out, he'll, tell me something. But then, he didn't, so he follows him through Sky Troops, doesn't help him in Sky Troops because he's trying to follow him, grounds his vessel in Iron Jungle, because, again, he wants to talk to him. Gets some answers that he doesn't really like, and then ends up in Cosmic Fall because he's like, well, clearly it wasn't the case that I'm an android. So then he learns from the gun commander about his history, and it's just like, well, this is all my fault. I've come to understand that, like, doing heroic acts won't really change the fact that I've done the wrong thing, that I've hurt other people, is kind of the way I'm taking it. So, he has a good heart, but it's ultimately bound by the sin of his past, and he doesn't really feel like he can kind of overcome that, or he doesn't feel like what he does is really, like, erasing that or something. I guess that's how I would kind of describe it. But yeah, it's, one of those ones where, even though I'm going to go over these with each one, there's probably a lot of interpretations you could take out of any of these, and if you have a different stance or a different take on the name of the pathway that I'm doing whenever I comment on it, perfectly fine by me. Feel free to discuss it in the comments below, what your thoughts are, and we'll go from there. But yeah, this was number 294, and we'll see when I get to the next one. I'm probably going to start working on it pretty quickly. And I do plan to do, like, regular uploads, like, the Garfield comic rankings, and then I have a few other ones. There's a couple of book series I want to talk about. I'm kind of want to discuss, like, Sonic vocal tracks, which I might do. I still have plenty of other ideas, but this will be sort of an ongoing series as well. We'll see how long it takes. Could take a few years if I decide to stick with it the whole way through. Because, yeah, there's a lot of story paths and a lot to do here in Shadow the Hedgehog. This is only number 1 of a total of 326, so we got 325 more to go after this. And it's definitely going to be a long path. Again, I don't blame anyone who is going to skip most of these. If you just want to watch one at random, that's fine. And, like I said, a lot of these will not have too much commentary because, if I'm doing the mission again, I'm not going to commentate over it. Only the first time. And, yeah, here it is. At the end, I show the library, and boom. a heart bound by sin. Until next time, everybody.